Hey, this is Justin. It is Wednesday morning, July 10th, 2024. This is a walk and talk. I'm actually standing for the purpose of getting a better audio message, not having all the background noise that goes along with it. Just got out of the gym to get started. So this is a brainstorm on some idea incubation and creating, I guess, call it the mastermind of one. What we start with is, you wake up this morning, my mind goes spinning in a whole bunch of different directions. I go to the gym, that gets me a little bit more. So, wow, this T-shirt is not so great to be wearing for this thing. I feel like I'm still in my pajamas here. But to start doing basic idea generation, like right, that like you wake up, the head starts spinning and going in 1,000 different directions, and it typically loops, goes around in a circle, and doesn't go into a productive avenue, a productive way to be able to connect and to be able to produce something. So, what do? I go to the gym, settles the mind down a little bit, also starts working towards some of the longevity goals, and then start recording this message afterwards, which is now we're taking that what's internal and making it external. And I had something that was a little bit scary that I had to create this morning. Somebody that asked me to create, and so I went. I just did a brain dump that was 5 minutes, put it out there, and shared that this morning. And I was like, oh, I'm nervous about when I actually send it out. But yeah, that was it. We just did like a little bit of a brain dump around that and got it out. So now we're like high energy and ready to go and ready to share out some of the ideas. But the whole idea is we want to get stuff in front of people as quickly as possible, allow them to respond to it. I've chosen, I think this is the lowest. It's a little bit risky to get on camera and to be able to create and to record live. So it's, this takes a little bit of risk to do that. There's like judgment that goes into it. There is like, I'm concerned about the ums and the ahs and working through that. And that's why we get more practice on it. But once we get something out there, you realize people aren't typically, or they are judging and it doesn't make a difference, or they're not judging at all. So, but we got to get out of the way of getting through the processing and the creation of the stuff that we're doing, getting out of our own way so the ideas can start to flow in a meaningful way and they can be a little bit more impactful. So that's why I typically do walk and talks, because when I'm walking, the barriers down, the voice in the head that says what you're talking about is complete garbage goes down, and it gets, and we get away from it a little bit. So when we start doing that, that's why I typically do the walk and talk, but the audio on those isn't so great. So now we start working through the process and then start sharing out some of the different ideas. So what I've been thinking about most, especially inside of the corporate space, is like, how do you bring the best of, and I call it B2C, how do you bring the best of the tools that are like influenced by actual customers, and then bring that into a B2B world? And why the products are so much better for customers is because you have a direct correlation between the people who are paying for the products and the people who are actually using them. Typically in a B2B world, the people who are paying for the products aren't the people that are actually using it. And there's a long time lag between when the decision is made and when you actually get it. So, but what happens, when I try something out on Product Hunt, I'm the one paying for it, I'm the one using it, and I can give feedback and I can influence the product roadmap. And it's also, I can get rid of it pretty quickly if I don't like it. So I can test out a whole bunch of different things. That's what also the problem in the B2B space is, especially in the large corporations, you got to get it right. So you can't afford to not get it wrong, because so much is invested in the beginning in making something right. So how do you get, so as a result of it in the B2C world, you get better, in my opinion, you got better technology, right? Now, better, there's different requirements when you do stuff at scale. There's different security requirements, but in reality, you get better stuff in the B2C environment. So how do you bring the best of that to the inside? Like, I can't do a live stream like this. I can't do a live stream like this inside of my corporation, right? It's not, number one, it's not necessarily allowed, and then number two, the technology is not necessarily there, or I can't necessarily do like a voice recording of my ideas, which is the best way that I have for being able to create stuff and then bring that in. So what you do is, one, you get to know the people. That's important. Get to, people are people, and that's going to be the common denominator regardless of what we're actually working on and working through. You get to know the people, you build a relationship with people, and that's something that pays dividends on both ends for a long period of time. And then you test stuff, right? And so most of the products I love are things like, I can test this right away. Typically, I'm in and out of something in about 5 minutes. I don't like it. It doesn't necessarily work. I'm very kinesthetic, so it is like, hey, this feels right, or it doesn't necessarily feel right. So that's okay. It can still, like, it can be something that's like not mature enough now, or doesn't meet my needs in the moment. My favorite tool right now is Gyroscope. It's a health app tool, and I do all my tracking, and it's the one thing that I probably couldn't live without. It's like it presents all my health data in a meaningful way. It allows me to interact with it very simply. And I tried Gyroscope 4 times before it stuck. I think I started in 2016, maybe it was later than that. I tried it. It didn't work for me, or I didn't work enough to make it happen. And then finally, in July of 2022, when I wanted to do my food tracking, and the food tracking technology got to a place where it was good enough to be able to work with me, then I've been using it every day since then. And it is the number one tool. But I was in and out of it 4 and 5 times before I'd actually stuck with me. Some things I love, I start with them right away, and then they necessarily fade away. My favorite tool, 2020 thing, or 2021, 2020, I don't know, 2022, that I couldn't live without was Yak. The founders of the company, they're working on new things, both products that I love right now. I still use it today, but things change and things move around. Voxer was another one. It was my favorite around 2013, 2014, and so we move in and out of things to be able to make them work, and we need to necessarily be nimble with how we're working through. So I didn't answer the question. So how do you bring the best from the outside to inside? Number one is you use it, right? You get it into your I don't know what you call it. Vernacular might not be the right term, but you get it into your bones. You get to use this stuff, and then you look for opportunities. When you get to use stuff on the outside, it's like a new language. You look for opportunities to be able to bring it into the inside. And a lot of the work that I've done is like translating things that I do on the outside into the inside. So for instance, I can do a Zoom recording inside of our company like I can do a live stream. I can't just press go and make it work. And then I can't necessarily just say anything that I want to say, but I can get it transcribed, and I can get it working on the inside. Don't necessarily have the AI tools. I can't break this up into a whole bunch of different clips. I can't necessarily do the captioning that people can read on the back end. I don't necessarily have the distribution channels that can get enough feedback like TikTok. I can put out any message and it will get hundreds to 1,000 views. The ones that I do, that will go up to 10,000 to 100,000 views to really be able to get feedback from people. So we don't have the distribution channels also in the B2C world to make it impactful. So how do you take the best of the best to make stuff work? And what's so great about working in a corporate environment is you got a lot of chances to actually get it right, right? You got a lot of chances to get it right. And you got a lot of playmates, people that are working in the organization that are vested, like it's where people spend the most amount of time in being able to create something else and something new. So appreciate anybody who's listening to this. Thanks a lot for listening. Love to get any feedback anybody has on this, and have an amazing, we'll call this on Wednesday. All right, speak soon.